Welcome back to this special live transmission. As the situation between Pakistan and India is unfolding, a very important joint presser by Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Akhtar and DGI-SPR Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhry. Important revelations made in that. Very important statements also made. The Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Akhtar saying Pakistan Armed Forces won't let the nation down, and is also said that India had been trying to create a hype that Pakistan had targeted 15 different places, but they don't have any evidence regarding that. And DGI-SPR said that when Pakistan will strike, we won't need Indian media. The whole world will know. It will be visible as well. Also updating as to 29 Indian drones have been neutralized today, and only one managed to partially engage, and as a result of which we've seen 3 martyrdoms and 4 injuries. A number of other developments, especially Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif receiving a phone call from Secretary of State of the US, Mr. Marco Rubio, and a number of other developments which we will be taking up for discussion in this particular segment of this special live transmission. For that, we are honored to be joined in the studio by Dr. Shafqat Munir, security analyst. Dr. Munir, very much for your time, for being with us on this special live transmission. We really appreciate that. Now, the concocted stories, that very fascination, which the phantom defense first, the DGI-SPR has referred to the incident back in 2019 as the phantom strike of the Indian side, and now the kind of cinematic fascination they are carrying with themselves, the phantom defense, and the kind of false narrative again, on the pretext of which they have sent again the drones towards Pakistan, and especially towards the common citizens of Pakistan. Now, this particular false narrative, to what extent they are going to go? What's your understanding? Let's not go that far into history. Let's start with the Pahalgam incident, 22nd of April up till now.
I think the statement or the narrative India wanted to build, that could not be abided by any international forces or international community. Issue is that for whom they are building this narrative. For their own nation, they are always making them fool, the Indians. I think the Modi government, since their inception, they have been having all these false narrative because of their Hindutva theory and dominating the Indian politics. If they are building the narrative for them, fine, that could have been their narrative. But if you look at the regional forces or international community, they are not buying it. Reason, because this is all false, right from the Pahalgam, and even the recent claim of Pakistan attack on 15 places inside India. Pakistan would have been more than happy if Pakistan would have done it. We would have trumped it up many ways, but that is not. Pakistan is not actually attacking. We are weighing the options. We are defending ourselves. And we are looking at the technical.
So we are weighing the options, we are defending ourselves, we are also going with the strategic restraint. This particular term, once again used by Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Akhtar, this strategic restraint, the self-defense. Now, with this strategic restraint, with the only self-defense, we've already delivered so much of damage to them, shooting down their 5 fighter jets, neutralizing the 29 drones, which are not laden with that explosives when we talk about in material terms, that very poison, that very extremism, that is also contained in those. I mean, that false narrative and all that false propaganda. Yet only in self-defense, with that strategic restraint, we have delivered such a huge response.
I think this is also strategic weighing of options. It's not only restraint. Restraint is in the sense that we are not attacking back to civilian or other way they are doing randomly. We have targeted the military post. That is, even they have accepted their losses. That is there. But not on the civilian population like they did. The drones they have sent, many of them were for the looking at our positions. Pakistan is very, Air Force and other forces are well trained, and they have told them after shooting down the 5 aircrafts, and that resorted India, which India claims that they are the big power and they have mighty country and all everything. But they resorting to their own mean that they do not want more losses to their Air Force things. I was looking at still on the lighter side. I was looking at a cartoon that one from the France is on the door of Indian Air Force and pushing the bell, and behind that I was holding a shoe so that I will beat you guys who could not handle our affair. So these kind of things are international things are going on.
Those machines.
Yeah.
Yet there is an audacity. There is a terminology that was earlier used by Brigadier Janjua, Rashidwal Janjua. Shameful audacity.
Yeah. That's there. And even to hide their shame, they are taking all these things as the word is foolish. That is not the case. Technically, all the forces know that what they are doing. Because if there would have been a real motive, if Pakistan would have been really behind any kind of attack, Pahalgam or anything, the world would have been reacting differently. They would have a moral thing. But now they have lost their morality internationally, and now they are losing their narrative within Indians. If you look at the same Indian people, those who are writing blogs and posts on social media, I was looking at many. They are saying that we are doing a faulty actions and we might be trapped into the Modi politics. Only Modi media, they are creating kind of a panic in the country. Look at the comparison. You do a comparison. People here, people are calm. People are going to businesses, their offices. They are all doing in routine.
There's no
jobs. Nothing, no panic. But look at the Indian people. They are panicked. Even if they are showing that some places were attacked by Pakistan, which is not true. We have declared that we would have been happy if we had done it. Now even that is because they want to create a fear factor. So which means Modi narrative is actually terrorizing their own people. It is not that anybody in Pakistan is fearing out of that, because we have seen our victory in terms of shooting down 5 costly aircraft, and second time they do not get the courage to send them again. So that's the lesson, and this lesson is clear in Pakistan and outside world. So this narrative, I think, is not worth selling. Now, we'll see what their next move is. And Pakistan is ready for all these things.
We are now honored to be joined on the video link by Commodore Abid Rana, retired defense analyst. Commodore Rana, thank you very much for your time, for being with us on this particular special live transmission. Really appreciate that. The skill required to fly machines like Rafales, do you think the Indian Air Force seriously lacks that very capacity in terms of training, that very skill set that is required to fly such type of machines and get the desired results? Rather, Pakistan has successfully shot down their 5 fighter jets. What does that tell us about the whole saga when it comes to Indian authorities' jingoism, war hysteria, that blatant aggression against international norms, and then that very morale and the skill of the Indian Air Force in particular?
Thank you very much for having me on your show, first of all. I think the result itself shows and speak louder than the words. We have seen 4.5 generation Rafale going down, and probably only one of its kind in the history of air combat. And that too by Pakistan, and unfortunate for India. Obviously, I think it would be fair to say that every machine, and as modern as Rafale is, takes time for induction. Given history of a lack of training in Indian Air Force in general, and the 4.5 generation most modern fighter aircraft, I am not really surprised that they haven't got their hands on the stick yet. And we have seen that in the form of not 1, 3 Rafales going down in single combat. As for the jingoist and the bombast kind of statements which are coming from Indian side, it only confirms that India has been very successful in portraying its softer image globally, but regionally and domestically even. India is a terrorist country which uses state terrorism, especially under Modi. It has been using that for its own people and also in the region. But it is very unfortunate that when in the region and domestically India is established as a bully and a terrorist, it has also been able to successfully portray its softer image globally. And it is really unfortunate for the global community not to have recognized India and its true colors. I think it's now high time that the global community must look at it seriously and try to see the real face that India has.
I think there is a shift, there is rather a shift this time around with this false narrative, the kind of propaganda Indian authorities, Indian media, under the supervision of that very Prime Minister whose mentality, the mindset is driven by extremist ideology of Hindutva, was also banned to travel to the US because of his role in the massacre back in 2002 in Gujarat. And there is a long list in the recent past how Indian state sponsorship terrorism has manifested not only on Pakistan soil but also in the Western countries. Do you think that shift in the understanding, that very lens through which the Western world used to see India, there is a shift happening right now?
I think to some extent you are right, but not as much as one would like to see it, or not as much as it is really required. For instance, look at what India has done in last few days. India has blatantly violated international laws, not only international laws, but international laws on war also, the laws of armed conflict. In the laws of war, targeting places of worship, water reservoirs, and civilian population is considered as a war crime. India has not only blatantly done that, India has also confessed it. And we do not see much of the concern or response coming from the world community as it should have come. Even suspending established agreed water treaty between India and Pakistan, whose Article 12 says that it cannot be suspended or unilaterally cancelled. India has done that. It is again an international crime and should be tried in the International Court of Justice. And likewise, there are many actions which call for rather strict measures, but somehow the world has been rather soft when it comes to treating India. But I also agree with your view that that realization is now sinking in, slowly though.
Okay, so Commodore Rana, when you talked of that India hasn't only committed war crimes, it has also confessed it. When we talk about its aggression, when it comes to vis-a-vis places of worship, when it comes to the unilateral illegal suspension of the water treaty with Pakistan, targeting the civilian population as well. So international laws should have come into play. There must have been stricter measures when it comes to the role and the responsibility of the international community, when it comes to holding such an aggressor accountable. Committing such war crimes and then confessing it, what has emboldened India then?
I think sheer stupidity of India and its arrogance. If you look at the press conference that followed the first wave of attacks, Indian spokesperson said that we were very careful in selection of targets. We selected mosque as a target, and this is a war crime. And they said that we purposefully selected non-military targets, which means that they targeted the civil population. This is also a confession. And also, we know what they did with the dam in Kashmir. So one, that India has committed all this. India has a stupid audacity to confess it on record. I think it is now for Pakistan to present its case at relevant forums. The forums available to us are, of course, in International Court of Justice, International Commission on Human Rights, United Nations Security Council, and others. And Pakistan, while considering the military response very carefully, should not really delay launching its offensive on diplomatic, legal, and global front.
Right. That very authorization to the armed forces of Pakistan, the National Security Committee has given. Commodore Rana, I'll come back to you. Dr. Munir, when we talk about these war crimes, target civilian population deliberately, the places of worship, the water reservoirs also, and also making confessional statements regarding that. The shameful audacity, that very hubris and that very arrogance. Do you think that there is a shift happening when it comes to the understanding of the major players, to the conduct of such a nation that is so willfully and so conveniently violating every international norm?
I think there are two things. One is that violation on the international law, and the international law says that you cannot hit the civilian population. Even if in the combat civilians are trapped, you are protecting them as a human beings, and nobody can even use the human shield. International humanitarian law clearly says, Geneva Convention clearly says that an international resolution on Kashmir and other things are there. But this is violation of the bilateral agreement also, because Pakistan and India have a series of bilateral agreements, say Shimla agreement, and there is a very specific agreement between India and Pakistan, which is about the religious places and minorities. That says that both the countries, because both have the minorities which are both sides, one is the majority, the other side is the minority. So there is a specific agreement that says that they would not only protect the population, the minority population in each country, and also their places of worship. So this is also the violation of bilateral agreement.
Protection of minorities.
That shows the mentality in Dwata. I will take you to 11 years back or 12 years back, when situation was not like this. When Modi was in the seat, beginning of the time. At that time, there was not that kind of challenges he was facing on political fronts. And the same party was in power. But the other parties, those who were outside power or were the allies, they were pushing them, because there was not absolute majority at that time. So there were relations continuously going on. The regular meetings of the IWT, commission on both sides, Water Commission, Pakistan and India. Similarly, all the bilateral Nehru agreement with Pakistan leadership, or this minority agreement, they were all in place. Just 12 years back, nothing was there. But whenever gradually Modi picked up for the next term, and then they thought that they need a new thing to sell, and that was anti-Muslim kind of thing, and Hindutva came into that, and that was the narrative of that. If you are targeting Muslims, then you are targeting Pakistan. So if you look at in the country, they are targeting their minorities. More than 200 million Muslims, 28 to 30 million Christians.
That is exactly
so
the
that
point.
Is actually, more than 300 million non-Hindus and 900 plus million Hindus. But in 900 million Hindus, all are not for Modi. So we have to look at the dynamics in politics. That's why this time when he third time came, again this philosophy could not work, which in the second term Modi got. That's why they could not get the even simple majority. They have a coalition government. And this coalition government may not be surviving if things happen like this, because war always is not you are winning. War has the option, when you have started war and aggression, all the aggressor in the world, they have faced the other side of the coin as well.
Could that be used as a tool to divert the attention at the domestic level as well?
Yeah.
Because if you are in crisis as a government who hasn't gained that very much traction in the recently held Lok Sabha elections, when you had to resort to, or you had to depend upon a coalition to sustain your power over there. So that
and even in the states, now the other state elections are coming up. So that's why BJP is now losing. They have already lost 3 states, and particularly for Punjab. Actually, they are getting revenge from the other side of Punjab, because they did not vote for Modi's party. So that's why they think that Punjab, that side or this side, if they are bleeding, Modi has nothing to do. But Pakistan is not, Pakistan resent is that we are not attacking outside because they are also, human beings. Similarly, under the bilateral agreement on religion, Pakistan still opened, Radari. The Kartarpur visits are continuing. But that is now closed by India, not from Pakistan.
Now closed by India. That is the point which I wanted to stop you on, that very agreement when it comes to the protection of the religious minorities. Why, why would India respect that agreement, especially that you've also talked in your take that it is going on a rampage when it comes to the discrimination, marginalization of the minorities within its own territories? So why would it respect that agreement with Pakistan on the protection of the minorities in the other country?
That's their reply. That's why they are playing a Hindu card. And don't you think that if Modi is playing Hindu card, all the other non-Hindus are satisfied with it? Certainly not. In Punjab, there is a resentment against this government. In south side of India, I know many people, I work with them internationally during my posting. South Indians are not Indians. They are not with them, with the northern Indian or the ruling parties there. They are very different people. Even they do not speak Hindi. They speak either their own language or English. Similarly, if you go to the northern 7 states, they are not Indians as such with the Indian territories because they have their own language, own culture. Mostly they speak, Bengali and other languages. And there is another comparison between Pakistan's forces and Indian forces. Pakistani forces are well trained, rather I would say among the top 10 armies. They can handle all kind of war, tactical war, machine war, traditional war, or even guerrilla war. So we have been having, the whole nation in fact has been facing all these things. But India, since many decades, they cannot even fought in the 7 states. Punjab is already there, and now there is a big resentment in Punjab. If you look at the sentiments in Indian side of Punjab or their leadership, you would find that it is not that as smooth as Hindutva is working there. Actually, it has divided India into two, the non-Hindus and Hindus. So their narrative is also inflicting heavy losses to them as well.
Right. Commodore Abid, Rana, do you expect any understanding when it comes to the protection of minorities in the other country, specifically in Pakistan, is concerned, when India has been resorting to that very marginalization of minorities within its own territories? And also during today's press, the DGISPR also said that one of those 29 shot down drones, one was headed for Nankana Sahib, which is abhorrent.
I think there is a greater realization in India that when the Sikhs of Punjab, Eastern Punjab especially, might not stand or may defect. And this growing realization is disturbing for the cohesion of Indian army and India as a nation. I think some of the actions point toward creating that rift between the Sikhs of that side with the state of Pakistan. One being, of course, false claim that one of our missile landed on one of the temple in the Eastern Punjab, which is a blatant lie. But of course, such lies are not baseless. They have some purpose. And in this case, of course, the only visible purpose is to create that divide. Likewise, attacking their religious shrines in Pakistan is also, in a way, giving a message to them that, look, your places in Pakistan are not safe and protected. So all this is basically aimed at extremely mean measures to kind of create that wedge between the Sikhs in Eastern Punjab and the state of Pakistan. Pakistan, on the other hand, has always respected minorities. We have always embraced them with open heart, and we have no such prejudices against them.
Right. Commodore Rana,
I just want to add
please,
one point here.
Dr. Munir, please go ahead.
How India handles minorities and how Pakistan handles. I have worked in Pakistan with minorities. For many years I have been working. Pakistan takes their minorities. Pakistan deals with Hindus as Pakistanis, or Christian as Pakistanis, or Sikhs as Pakistanis. But India deals them as an enemy or as Pakistan. That's a major difference. That's why they are not taking care of their rights. They are discriminating them. Lynching is coming up. But here in Pakistan, we look at differently. There was some sort of things in society, but not deliberately. The government, all the successive government, they have been doing on counter-violent extremism, so that the extremist element inside Pakistani society should not incite any kind of hatred among the minorities or for the minorities. So that's the way of dealing in Pakistan and India.
Right. Commodore Rana, you already talked about that kind of response, and it should be coming fast to India from Pakistan's side. We've seen DGI SPR saying that Pakistan will strike. We won't need Indian media to tell the whole world will know. We've also seen Information Minister Akhtar saying Pakistan's reply will be unforgettable and serve as a lesson for the whole world. How sooner could we expect, and what sort of manifestations could this particular response be to Indian side so that the enemy is completely silenced and they don't have any more courage to make any further aggression?
First of all, I think the military plans should not unfold under duress. While the time is of essence, but it should be left to the military planners. And as you must have heard, DGISP are also saying that we will respond, but at a time, place, and means of our choosing. And this our choosing gives us great flexibility in selecting from the number of responses and options that we have up on the table. I think it will be playing in the hands of the enemy scheme if we work or respond in haste or under time duress or any such dictate which enemy wants actually to react under. So I for once will say that let the military planners do their work. Political leadership and the military leadership ultimately will have to make the
Pardon for the interjection. Pardon for the interjection over here, Commodore Rana. Very important points made on the phone line. We are now honored to be joined by Mr. Syed, Akhtar Shah, senior analyst. Mr. Shah, thank you very much for being with us on special live transmission. How are you looking at this particular Pakistan shooting down 29 Indian drones?
I would say that it demonstrates the ability of the Pakistan's air defense system, and they have very ably shown their ability, and the people of Pakistan have also taken a sigh of relief, and it has motivated the people of Pakistan who are now confident that their defense forces can match any attack and they can retaliate with the same prowess.
Right, Mr. Shah, we've also seen that Pakistan has successfully shot down 29 drones at the same time as a precautionary measures in a number of provinces, including Punjab as well. There's been emergency declared. There are certain standard operating procedures which have been announced. In case of any sort of emergent situation, what should ideally the citizens be doing in order to deal with that urgency?
As far as from a civil defense point of view, in such cases, we have to dig the trenches, then we have to be prepared if, God forbid, such a situation arises where there is a need for blood donations and stocking, food items. And so from that point of view, we have to be prepared for any emergency, for any such eventuality.
Mr. Shah, is there more that needs to be done at this particular point in time when Pakistan has responded befittingly to this Indian aggression at multiple levels? As far as the citizens of the country is concerned, other than this, that civil defense training, the mock exercise is underway, digging of the trenches, taking refuge under the safe structures as well. What else needs to be done on that front?
Yeah, I would say that it is also a war of nerves. And we as a nation we have to exhibit our grace under pressure. And we have to demonstrate as far as that we are a nation which can stand any pressure in adversity. And from that point of view, we have also to work day and night. We have to run our economy, we have to run our trade, so that in such times where the economy also needs to be on a strong footing, therefore we all have to be together on such occasions.
We all have to be together, of course, in this particular tough time because of India's blatant aggression. When it comes to India's blatant aggression, when it comes to the normal life within India itself, the kind of economy that they actually so talk about, they take the pride in, if because of that reckless behavior or the conduct of Indian side, if an all-out war happens, is it not going to leave a far-reaching detrimental impact on the overall Indian society in the longer run?
Yes, of course, as far as the Indian society is concerned, because war has a cost. It has an economic cost, it has a social cost, and Pakistan so far has shown to the world and also the Indian populace that Pakistan has the capacity and Pakistan has the ability to pay with the same coin. So far Pakistan has demonstrated that, and it has also, you see, sent shivers as far as the Indian population is concerned.
Right, Mr. Shah, do you see any similarities when it comes to these drones, or Israeli-made drones? India is using those drones against the civilian population. They've already had the strikes targeting the civilian population, to which they had already had the very befitting response from Pakistan's side, the shooting down of 5 their jets. When it comes to this particular aspect of it, we've seen this particular pattern on the part of Israelis going with impunity to target the civilian populations. So do we understand India is not only getting the weapons from Israelis, but also that very mindset in order to target the civilians?
Yeah, I would say that it's the same, you see, pattern as Israeli had carried out against the innocent Palestinians in Gaza and other areas. And the Indians have also adopted the same. They are conducting the operation in the same fashion. Having said this, I would say that not only from a moral perspective, but also from the all canons of international law, targeting the civilian population is not acceptable at all, at any level.
Right, Mr. Syed Akhtar, Shah, senior analyst, joining us on the phone line. Thank you very much for being with us on this special live transmission. Really appreciate that. It's the time for a short break. After this particular break, we'll resume the discussion from here. For that, stay tuned. Welcome back to this special live transmission at PTV World. We are joined in the studio by Dr. Shafqat Munir and on the video link by Mr. Commodore Abid, Rana, retired. Dr. Munir, do you also see any similarity when it comes to the mindset which is at play? We have seen the deliberate targeting of civilian infrastructure, the civilian population, when it comes to Israel's relentless brutality, atrocity against the innocent people in Gaza, the case of which went into even International Court of Justice. There have been a number of resolutions as far as the UN General Assembly is concerned, the United Nations Security Council is concerned. the condemnation by the world leaders, largely the international community, the censure came up with it. Now, India following the same pattern, not only using the Israeli-made weapons, but also following the same pattern to target the civilian population deliberately. Do you agree with this?
I think the only difference is that Israelis are doing it at a massive scale. Here, India wanted to test, and they tested it. So there is a free, kind of space to Israel in Gaza and other, but here they don't have a free space. Now their strategy could be similar. They have similar weapon because almost 30% of the weapon India buys from Israel, 10% from 10% from US, and 36% from Russia and other. So our is 80% from China. So now it's a joke going on in the world that the Rafale market goes down and our jets market goes up. So that's kind of things that happen because people are watching. Similarity, yes, to some extent, but the field is not as available to Indian as is available to Israelis. So that's why we should not equate it that this could kind of strength India has, or this kind of a free field available in Pakistan is. That is not the case as Israel is having in Gaza. So that's my brief answer to it.
Right, Commodore Abid Rana. Now, the National Security Committee, let me quote an excerpt from there, that Indian aggression also caused grave danger to the commercial airlines belonging to brotherly Gulf countries, endangering the lives of thousands of on-board passengers. This particular behavior, endangering the commercial flights and also putting at risk the lives of on-board passengers, how this particular issue could specifically be addressed at the international level?
As I said earlier, that India showed total disregard to all human rights and the welfare and safety of the civilians. And this is also one of the examples in every region where a country intends to declare hostilities, the international community is informed and the international traffic is diverted accordingly. But India, by this coward act, has not only endangered the life but also the safety of the international traffic. I think Pakistan should attach it with the other violations that India has committed and raise them at an appropriate forums.
Right, very quickly, in yes or no, is there any sort of an accountability of such an aggression, such an act?
Yes.
To multiple nationals, multiple citizens?
Yes, of course. There has been instances in the past, and of course there is an accountability. We live in a world where there is a rule of law, where there are bilateral agreements, and there are multilateral agreements on these issues. And nations have committed to respect them. And one odd country standing up and blatantly denying them, officially on record confessing them, and going scot-free would be a tragedy.
Abid Rana, retired defense analyst, joining us on the video link. Thank you very much for taking time out for this special live transmission. We really appreciate that. In the studio, we were joined by Dr. Shafqat Munir, security analyst. Dr. Munir, thank you very much once again for being with us on this special live transmission. Really appreciate that. With that, we come to the end of this particular segment. After a short break, you'll be able to watch the news bulletin. After that, this particular transmission is going to continue. For that, stay tuned.